good to be here. It's an honor. Appreciate my friend Zeke having me out, and excited to speak to the group today. And with that, open up any questions.
Coach, coming off a hard-fought game against Tennessee, tough front court matchup. How do you prepare for this week's tough court matchup with Alabama?
Yeah, Tennessee game was, we kind of shot ourselves out of it. Took, some uncharacteristic threes and, just not something that we've been doing over the last 6 games. We kind of went away from taking it to the inside and, trying to score through contact and, obviously it showed. So it'll be a great tape to learn from, something that we can kind of pull off of and draw off of to get ready for this weekend. This week with it being a bye week, we get time to, get healthy. I got a couple guys that have some things that they need to get through and, just get ready for obviously a really talented Alabama team and, a team that's got a bunch of really good guards and, have a new addition up front, which, is going to make them better as the year goes on. And, another unbelievable opportunity, another great challenge coming up Saturday.
Steven, last year this was, I think, 1 versus 2 in the country. A little bit different this year, but similar stakes because of where you guys are in the standings. How important is this game?
Yeah, the Iron Bowl of basketball it's always important no matter, where you're at, whether you're number 1 or number 2 or you're right in the middle of the league, fighting for standing and, obviously seeding in the NCAA tournament. So it's an incredibly important game. It's important to our fans. It's important to their fans. And, we got 10 new guys that have never played in this rivalry before. So they all understand the significance of it, and I know they're all excited about it.
How do you prepare those guys to play in this game?
I think one of the things that's been beneficial for both teams is the schedule that we've already played at this point. So we've already played a lot of high-stake games up to this point. I think Alabama's number 1 in the country, and we're number 2 in the country in strength of schedule. So we've had our fair share of really difficult, big games. So I think that gets them prepared for these games more than anything. But obviously, it's sold out at Neville Arena every single night. So that's not going to be that much of a difference from what they've been playing up against or in front of. So I know they're just excited about it because there is a heightened sense of awareness, with our fan base and their fan base, and the level of excitement in the building will be amplified for sure.
Is there anything you would say you've learned about your team with those big games?
Yeah, I think, we have not gotten too high and we've not gotten too low. We've had some tough results early in the year against some really good teams, and that didn't deter us from our process of just continuing to work on the things that we have to work on to try and get better. But then, we've also had some big wins, to be able to beat St. John's, to be able to beat Arkansas, to be able to beat Florida at Florida. Our guys stayed pretty consistent with everything that we've been doing up to that point, and we've continued to do so. Now that we had a tough loss at Tennessee, we got to bounce back just the same way and just stay consistent with what we've been doing in our preparation and learning from wins and losses and just trying to get better each and every day. And if we're able to do that, we'll have a chance to succeed.
Coach, you mentioned the addition of Bediako. How is it different when you're preparing for a team that you don't know if they're going to have Bediako available on Saturday night? They clearly play differently, whether it's 2 bigs or just the one. How do you scout a team like that moving forward?
You have to prepare as if he's going to play, right? Because I would anticipate he's going to be out there. And, anytime you're playing a team, whether they're dealing with something like that, an eligibility question or an injury, right, you got to prepare for them as if you're playing with a full strength roster. And that's what we're going to do. And, obviously the 2 big lineup makes them defensively, much better. The 1 big lineup is where they probably excel a little bit more offensively. So you got to be ready for both. And, that's something that, we as coaches got to do a great job of in preparation for, a really good team.
And you played, obviously, for Tennessee. You've been an assistant in this kind of game. Have you gotten the sense yet that this is your first Iron Bowl of basketball as a head coach? Has that hit you yet?
No, I don't think it really changes the stakes of the game. It was a big game when I was the assistant strength coach, and it's a big game now that I'm the head coach. So it means just as much, regardless of the role. And I think, my entire staff feels that way. The managers all the way up to me all feel the same, intensity, the same pressure, and the same stakes that comes with this game. And I know everybody's really excited about it.
Steven, what do you hope happens at that hearing Friday?
I'm not really concentrating on that. That's not really my focus. All I can do is just help get my team prepared for, Alabama, whether he plays or whether he doesn't play. So I don't really have any hopes or desires one way or the other. That's for them to decide, and then we just get ready for Alabama on Saturday.
But for the future and the stability of the sport, what needs to happen at that hearing?
I can't really speak to that either because I don't make those decisions. What's happening is, is being done within the guidelines that we're currently operating under. If you can get a judge to get a temporary restraining order to allow a player to play, then until they're told they can't do that, then that's what people are going to continue to do. So I don't, all Nate's trying to do is win basketball games. That's what we're all trying to do. I can't say whether that's right or wrong. You know what I mean? It's just that's not my place. So I understand what Nate's doing. That doesn't mean it's right or wrong. He's trying to put his team in the best position to win games, and I get that. But whatever happens on Friday happens. We just got to be prepared one way or another to face a really good Alabama team.
What thoughts on Gus Malzahn retiring from football?
Yeah, Gus is, a dear friend of mine. And, I think the timing's interesting because BP obviously having just hung it up, I would imagine they're going to play a ton of golf together now out at the lake. So I know Gus is, really excited about that. He and Chrissy are just such great friends of ours. And, he and I have just stayed in constant communication throughout my career, and he's been such a helpful resource in my journey to being a head coach. I got so much love for Coach and his family, and I'm really happy for him because he's done such a great job at every level, of football, whether it's in high school or collegiately. And, he deserves, the time, to spend with his family and the time to, be able to enjoy and look back on all the success that he's had in this profession. And just looking forward to the, coming years of his life where he gets to really, sit back and just relax.
Stephen, even with Bediako, Florida kind of had their way inside. I know they've got some really talented bigs, but is that a blueprint at all for you guys to use?
I mean, we don't have Chinyalu, we don't have Condon, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not really a blueprint for anybody unless you're Arizona or Purdue or, Michigan, right? Because those are the only teams that have the same positional size that Florida does. So, no, not really a blueprint because we don't have the same positional size that those teams have. So, we just got to do what we've done best over these last, really since conference play started, and just stick to those things. Trust what we're doing defensively and try and execute.
Coach, in a recruiting lane as the head coach, has your role changed, like with building relationships with recruits?
No. Right now, there's, we're recruiting a handful of high school kids, and, they've been coming on campus for games, and they'll continue to do so. And, obviously, as the transfer portal gets started, things will start to elevate as far as, what I need to do when that portal, opens up, because it's going to be an important piece for us. We're going to look to try and, for me, honestly, just being totally transparent, like, my main focus is the guys that have trusted me with the opportunity to coach them this year. I'm not going to get my attention diverted in season to recruiting, because right now I got to focus on the guys that are in that locker room right now, and the guys that trust me to lead their team. Right now we're focused on the main thing, and that's trying to win games in league. And then obviously when the season ends and we got to shift our focus to some recruiting, then that's what we'll do.
On the Tip Off Club, is this something new to you? And do you have like a speech you write up, or you got a joke you like to get them warmed up with?
No, not really. I kind of just, every time you rehearse things, it always comes off really bad. So you just kind of give everybody an update as far as where we're at as a program. And, hopefully Scarbinci's got some nice things to say about me. But no, I'm excited to be here. I really appreciate Zeke Smith and having me out and inviting me, because I know BP's done this in the past, and it's a great group, and he's always really enjoyed himself. So looking forward to the opportunity to spend some time with these folks today and just talk a little hoops.